boys and girls, it's Deputy Doug. Back here with you again today to talk about some summer safety and specifically some bike safety as well. So before we get into bike safety, let's talk about some general safety. One of the things that you are always safest to be with a trusted adult, or at the very least with a group of people. And what else do you have as far as a weapon if you do find yourself in that situation? Well, I think your best weapon is your voice, and yelling and screaming and drawing attention to yourself is the best thing to do. Help, stranger! This person isn't my dad! This person's trying to get me to go with them. Yell and scream whatever you have to do to draw attention from other neighbors that may be outside. And even though some of those neighbors may be strangers, remember, most strangers are good, so somebody's going to help you. And again, today I'm going to give you an abbreviated version of this. These are things that you should check before you hop on this bike to start riding it. The first thing I noticed about my bike, which tires again have gone a little bit flat. If your bike's been sitting in a cold garage or a cold shed all winter, your tires are probably flat. If you know how to pump them up, put the right amount of air in there, great. If you don't, then ask mom and dad for some help, but sometimes they do go flat. Then up here, we have our brakes, of course. And whether you have handlebar brakes like I do on my bike, whether it's 1 or 2, or you have the brakes, the old-fashioned kind where you just kind of push backwards on the pedal, make sure that you're checking those brakes. Don't wait till you're going down a steep hill to find out that they don't work. The important thing on the brakes is also remember, if you have handlebar brakes, is to remember these little cables right here. These tighten and loosen up here. Make sure those are in there nice and tight, because if they're loose and fall out, your brakes will not work. You may have to adjust the height of your bike, which means you're going to raise or lower your seat perhaps. Probably you're going to have to raise it up. And for most of you, that's this little silver latch right here. It's a little bit of muscle. We're just going to basically take this right here and pull this out, and then we can actually wiggle our seat around or raise or lower it, put it exactly where we want it. And I call this a clasp or a lever, and you can push this right back, and now you have a nice tight bike seat, okay? Make sure, another thing we want to check is our chain. One of the important things we need to put on here is oil. If you don't have oil and your bike is making like a squeaky noise, then you probably need to oil your chain, okay? Once you want to ask parents to help with, because oil is a poison, and we want to make sure also that it can make a mess, so we want to make sure we have some paper towels or some old newspapers underneath it in case this drips. So those are some of the things we want to check. Air in the tires, our brakes, the height of our bicycle seat, put oil on the chain. Once you're done with that, remember, there are some things that we can add on to our bikes that make it not only more safe, but also more fun. The first thing I added was a nice LED light headlight. These are the same kind of lights that you see at the Columbus Zoo when they have the winter lights, same kind of bulbs in here. That will really help people see you. You can run these during the daytime, and it'll really help cars see you. But remember, if we have lights on the front, we also want to put lights on the back as well. So light on the front, light on the back. You can also actually put reflectors on here as well, and your bike probably already comes with some reflectors. Normally, each tire will have a reflector, the front and the back, and then sometimes you'll have one here. And also remember that your pedals, which is a great place to have reflectors, they'll have them there as well. So put those lights on there. In fact, another thing I added on my bike is a horn, because if you're going down the sidewalk in your neighborhood and there's a car backing out of a driveway, and you don't think you can stop in time, I don't want you, going out in the street and getting hurt. I don't want you running into that car. One of the things you can do, a couple things. One, honk your horn so that you can help get their attention if the driver or the car isn't paying enough, close enough attention. And if that doesn't work, you can always ride your bike up into their front yard. That's a lot better than hitting the car. It's a lot better than going out in the street. A couple more things to show you real quick is I added a mirror. So instead of actually having to turn your head around to see what's behind you if you hear a noise, which could cause you to lose balance and fall over, if you just put this little mirror, and it's just you look down, see what's in the mirror, and then just keep riding your bike, and that way you can keep your balance, keep focused, and nobody gets hurt that way. And then the last thing I'll show you real quick is this, and I hate to tell you guys this, but you should really think about investing in a bike lock. Where we live, your neighborhoods right here in Delaware County is a wonderful, safe place to live. The great news I always tell kids is that we have very little bad things happen where people get hurt from bad people around here. Just something that doesn't happen very often at all, which is great. What we do have, however, like every other community, is our fair share of people who like to take things that don't belong to them. So make sure you have a bike chain. Make sure, again, that you are putting this through the neck or the frame of your bike. Okay, not through your spokes, but of your wheels, but right here. Wrap this around something that's in the ground, a street sign, a tree, a bike rack, something where they cannot easily take your bike. So I got one more thing I do want to actually show you, and that is actually the helmet. So it doesn't matter how short or far of a ride you're going on. I don't care if you're going on a mile-long trip with your parents around your neighborhood or 3 doors down to your best friend's house, you have to wear a helmet. Most car accidents happen within 2 to 3 miles of where we live. Not those long drives to grandma's house, but where we live. It's the same thing with these bicycles. And it's a big reason why kids end up in hospital emergency rooms is that they have fallen off their bike or skateboard and they did not wear their helmet. Remember this is how do we get this thing straight, right? Because, you know, I don't think I get too small to put on me, but this isn't gonna work, this isn't gonna work. Remember, we take 2 fingers, we put 2 fingers, the bottom one on our eyebrow and the other one right above it. And then if I was to pretend that this was my helmet, I bring this down till it touches my top finger and I stop, right? That's how we get our bike helmet on each and every time. And the other thing I'll tell you is once you get this thing clipped here around your chin strap, time and time again, I see boys and girls that have these way too loose. It's not doing you any good if this helmet is shifting back and forth on your head. It has to be tight. So how do we do that? Well, when we put our chin strap on, we make sure we can squeeze how many fingers, kids? Some of you should remember this. 2 fingers go between our chin and our chin strap. If you can't squeeze 2 fingers in there, it's too tight. Never see that. What I see kids, they can wiggle their whole hand in there because they don't want to wear it too tight and it's too loose. It's got to be snug. Last thing on the helmets, please remember that these helmets are going to help you one time. But if you fall off your bike, smack your head on the pavement, don't be fooled by the looks of this helmet. It may only have a scratch, it may only have a little chip or some paint off of it, but what you can't see is the styrofoam on the inside of this thing. It may be chipped or cracked, you won't see it. So if you fall again and you have the same helmet on, it may not protect your head the second time. Also with that, make sure you're wearing those shoes, no bare feet, no flip-flops, wear shoes. If you can wear bright colors while you ride your bikes, that's even better. Makes it easier for people to actually see you. So that about wraps it up for bike safety. We're gonna do another video here, hopefully that'll be all about water safety. And I look forward to doing that. And I look forward again to seeing you guys very soon. Have a safe day.